Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. How you can use the Power Query Editor to manipulate your data. So on the screen I've got some simple Excel data which isn't a formatted table in Excel. You can see that by this tab being active. If it wasn't formatted you wouldn't see that. So I want to put this into the Query Editor and manipulate this data. Now to do that I need to go onto the Data tab and I need to load it up. So you've got this option here from table or range. Well, mine's a table, so I can use that. I'll click on that and it should open up the window and load it in. Now the first thing that I want to do when it does load in is I want to manipulate some of the columns. So as you can see, it's brought data in and the formatting is slightly different to what it was in Excel. Now, I am using Excel, but don't think that Excel is the only tool to use. There's lots of data sources that are available that may not be formatted like you can in Excel. So that's why this functionality is available. First of all, these date columns, I don't want the time, so I'm going into this little symbol there and just selecting date, and that'll change that just to the date and not the time. Now, each thing I do, so that'll change that, will be listed over here, and you can delete it off if you don't want it. I'll do the other one. So just want a straightforward date column like so. So that'll replace that. Now these columns are set to number. I want these to be, this one is student, so I want this to be like a whole number. That's a whole number. Replace that. That's it, great. And then these ones are meant to be in pound. I'll click on that. Currency, it looks like a dollar sign, and I probably will have to reformat this when it comes back into Excel, but you get the idea. You just go through it and you select the type, the data type that you want at the top, currency in this case, like so, and replace that. Now if I come across a bit further, there is another feature I can use. I can split columns and I can join columns. So if I want to split this column into the city column and the county column, I can use one of the tools up here on the ribbon, one that says split columns, believe it or not, by delimiter. So in this case, the delimiter would be a space. There's a space there. So if I go for that one, delimiter, and then it'll give me the option to split that column off. Here we go. Now using space, the left hand most delimiter is what I want, and then I'm going to leave it like that. Click OK, and it will create two columns from one. Location 1 and location 2. Now to rename a column, you can double click at the top and call that whatever you want to call it. So I'll call that one city, and this one I shall call county. So I've renamed those. Now if I come further across, having split that, I can also join columns. So if I go to the ribbon and select add column, you've got column examples, and if I go from all columns, what that basically does is gives you a blank column, and if you double click in there, I'll need to select what I want there. So I've got Gateshead from the city column, so I'll double click on that, and then I want a comma, and then I'm typing UK. So if I click OK to that, let's see what happens. So it's pulled the city field in and added UK after every one of them, which is what I wanted to, so that's great. It says merged. I'll just call that something else, city and country. That'll do. Rename that city and country, and if I don't like that, I can just delete that off and forget about it. Now there are some calculations you can do in the Power Query Editor. For example, I've got revenue and cost here. If I do a little calculation where I work out the profit on this, so if I highlight that, hold my control key down, highlight that, go to standard, you've got a subtract feature there that I can select, and it will allow me to subtract the two, and it comes up with subtract like so. So it's basically taking those two off. I can move that across next to these, and I'll call that one not subtraction, I'll call it profit. Like so. And then that's a simple little calculation that I've done there. So basically using the Power Query Editor to tidy up your data. You could also do another calculation if you want to, students times revenue, or revenue times students. Now, as I pointed to that, you may have noticed that pops up. So you've got different features in Power Query that you can see whether your data is okay. Got no errors there, so that's okay. 55 records valid, 100%. To see it in more detail, you can go to the View tab and you can tick on these different options. So if I tick that option on there, you're getting this now information telling you about the state of your columns, which is great, and take that one off. You've also got column, that one gives you a bit of like a little chart if you see how that works. And again, take that one off and you can take different ones. It's up to you what you want to see. Now when you're ready to bring this back into Excel or whatever you're using, you go back to home and you close and load, and this will drop it back into your Excel file where you started from, and it will create a second sheet. As you can see there, now it hasn't remembered the formatting, which is slightly irritating, so all of these need to be set to currency, which I'll do there. So that's in pounds. But the good news is if I change the source data, which was on this sheet, so if I put that back down to 2 because I've already changed it once, all I have to do is go back to this table 1 tab. So this has come down from the Power Query Editor, it's still on 25. That is the link to get back into it if I need to. I don't want to do that just yet. So I'm going at the top here. It's formatted as a table. I don't want that. I want the Query tab. And on the Query tab, you've got a refresh button. So at the moment that says 25 on the raw data sheet. If I click refresh there, that should flick over to 2. So I didn't have to go back into Power Query to refresh the data. It went up and down and refreshed it automatically for me. If I double click back into the query, it takes me back into Power Query, and I'll see that that change is still there as it should be. It should say 2, and it does say 2. So I didn't need to open this to refresh the data and reload. It does it automatically. So I'll close that one off, come back down to this. So that's all I want to talk about in this little video. How you can utilize some of the tools in Power Query to get your data cleaned up if there's any issues with it, or do some simple formatting if that's all you need. So hopefully this video is of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.